Abigail Escobedo has asked me, how expensive is it to live in Korea? I mean, like housing and food. Well, I didn't pay for my housing, my school paid for that. And food and stuff like that, I think it just depends on you and like how often you eat out, what kind of foods you like to buy. If you like to buy the imported foods, it can get expensive. Certain like fruit and veg can be really expensive as well. Like Korean apples are really expensive, and like imported fruits, pineapples are expensive, and like mangoes and stuff like that. I think it just depends on you, but if you buy like certain Korean fruits and certain Korean vegetables, it can be a little bit cheaper. In terms of it being expensive or cheap, I really do think it's up to the person and if you're really good with budgeting and saving money. How much were you paid? Were you an elementary school teacher? In terms of how much I was paid, you can search online and they have all of the different band levels that people could be paid, and it all depends on how long you've been working and what area you live in Korea, but you can find that information online. And were you an elementary school teacher? Yes, I was. Did you have to speak Korean fluently? No, you don't. You can speak English and you can get by. I think it helps to be able to read Korean. I think that's at the least you should be able to do when you get there, but it's up to you if you don't want to learn Korean, but you don't have to be fluent. I think it's more of a preference thing. Like if you want to learn Korean, then go ahead, do your thing. And what are some tips on how to adjust to the lifestyle as smoothly as possible? I think be very open, not try to limit yourself to things you want to do because maybe that might hinder your experience. Be willing to try foods, be willing to open to do things with your co-workers. I think just be as open to things as possible. Go out, meet people, go to all of these like social events and gatherings so you can make friends, because I think having a good network of friends will really help your experience, because loneliness is a really big thing when you're an expat. Some of you guys have so many questions all at once. Megan Plu has asked me, was it easy to get along with the other teachers you worked with? I think couple of the co-teachers I worked with, we had our bumpy times, but by the end of my experience, we had worked together for so long that we all kind of got into a rhythm and we knew how to work with each other. So it wasn't difficult for me because I didn't have like really horrible co-teachers. They were all pretty cool with me and people at my school really liked me. Was it hard to communicate with them? No, not really. For the most part, my co-teachers were fluent in English. Maybe about one or two of them were not so fluent, but I didn't have any difficulty communicating with them. The ones that weren't really fluent, you just have to be mindful to like slow down your speech and try and speak as clearly as possible to them, but not really. Then I didn't have too many problems. The only people I could really speak English to were my co-teachers, and everyone else in the school didn't speak English. So either I would have to like break up my limited Korean if I need to go to office and pick up a parcel, and I'd have to ask in like Korean and stuff that I get stuff like that, but I didn't have any problem. So yeah. Is desk warming that bad? No, for me it wasn't, and I think it's just how you approach it, because I took it as time to use the school's heating and internet, and yeah, I wasn't that bothered about desk warming because I just used it as time to procrastinate. I watched TV shows, I did all that good stuff, like I edited videos. So I think it's just how you use that time. I didn't mind it too much. I know some people were bothered by it. I think mostly because it's more of like the mentality of I could be traveling on holiday somewhere as opposed to having to desk warm. But if you have to do it, you might as well just watch TV shows and procrastinate. So I like desk warming. How did you find friends in Korea? Well, for me, I had found friends before I left through the Epic Facebook page. We set up a Skype chat group and we all talked before we left. Then I also made friends at orientation. I made friends during like social mixers where all the foreigners would go and we would all kind of like intermingle, have drinks together. I made friends in bars, I made friends like everywhere. So as long as you kind of just be more open to talk to people, like I'll talk to random strangers and just have conversations with them. So it's the best way to make friends, and like friends of friends and like going out. So just try and be sociable and go out of your way. So if you're like bored at home on a Saturday night and you really don't want to go out, just go out because Who knows, you could make a new friend that night. Well, most of your friends are the foreigners, and yes, they were. I did try and make Korean friends, but I just found that sometimes they can be a bit wishy-washy. I did have a few Korean friends. A couple of them I actually made before I went to Korea, so it was kind of like, oh, hey girl, I'm moving in Korea, let's hang out sometime. So Lyric Cara Familia has asked me, what is your favorite experience / story with a student? I can never think of these things on the spot because it's kind of like dug down in my memory and I don't think of it often, but I had so many cool experiences with them, but I can't think of anything right now. I did like it when like some of my 6th graders and stuff would come up and talk to me like before class, and they would tell me like all their gossip and their stories in very broken English, and it was like a group of 6 girls with their limited knowledge of English to try and tell me their stories, and it was so sweet because they tried, you can tell they were trying so hard. So I loved it when my students tried to make an effort to speak to me without having to like just not being in the lesson, just chilling with teacher Anna and telling me their life stories and who's dating who and who is like cheating on who, and I'm just like, you guys have so much drama. Is it hard to find Asian guys who like black girls? I think it depends on where you go. That's not something I really know too much about, but I guess it depends on where you go. I think I previously mentioned I have had guys like come up and talk to me, but yeah, I guess it depends. I have no idea. So Pink Rebel's Thoughts said, I know in your announcement video you mentioned that a lot of your foreign friends were also leaving. I wanted to know if Cindy was also leaving, and did any of your other friends from the EPIC program, like the girl in one of your older videos about the visa problem, leave? Cindy did leave. She left like a week or so before I left Korea. She went on holiday with family and then is now back home in Cali. And the friend you're talking about, she didn't leave Korea. She actually got a job in Seoul. Before she left Seoul, she got a job teaching at a uni, and then her uni opened the campus in Seoul, so she now lives in Seoul. Moviecast13 has said, is it possible to get a job at a hagwon without reference letters? When you send your documents to Korea, do you send any originals or all copies? I'm not sure about the hagwon thing. I know with EPIC, they were pretty stringent on the reference and how it should be like formatted and all that stuff. Don't know about hagwon though. And in terms of like the documents, I had to send 2 sets of documents for EPIC. So I actually sent all the originals and I had photocopies of the originals as well. So I don't know about if that's the same for hagwon, but that's what I had to do for EPIC. K-pop Forever Fanfics has said, was teacher in Korea worth it? For me it was. I had a great time. I definitely changed and grew and found out a lot about myself, and I think it just depends on what you want from your experience and why you went to Korea. But for me personally, it was definitely worth it. Tanisha Guy has asked, I'm trying to go next year to teach, and my question is, what makes a great English teacher over there, and are there things I can do to help foster a better relationship with my co-teachers? I personally think that you need to have lots and lots of energy, especially if you're teaching like perhaps elementary school. You should always be really energetic in your classes, have plenty of activities, and just kind of have a smile on your face all the time. The kids really like it if you're very smiley. I would kind of play jokes on them a lot, and they like that. If you're kind of monotonous and you're kind of like, okay guys, this is what we have to do today, and then 1 2 3 ABC, it's really boring and no one wants to listen to that. But if you're someone who's very outgoing, if you kind of bring a lot of movement, energy to your class, I always try to do that no matter how tired I felt, because if you are not energetic in your class, I feel that kind of makes the class really boring, and what you're saying kind of falls on deaf ears because the kids don't want to hear it. They're tired and they don't want to see you tired either. I think in terms of fostering a better relationship with your co-teachers, I would talk to them a lot. I guess not everyone's going to have very open co-teachers. I always say this, but I always try to stress this. Everybody's experience is going to be different. I just happen to have really cool co-teachers who would ask me a lot of questions, who tried to get to know me. In my first year, one of my co-teachers, we actually used to go out and like go clubbing together. We used to go drinking together. Like, we were wild. But it's one that was unmarried, but the other ones I was really cool with. A couple of times we used to go out and have like dinner together, and the teachers in our office would go out and have dinner. We would talk and they would ask me questions, and I would just try and be as friendly as possible. Sometimes when I'd bake, I would like bring in cookies and like butter them up with like banana breads and muffins and stuff like that. I was just very friendly with people. I tried to be very friendly because I think that's kind of what helps in life, and I do try and live by do unto others. So if I want people to be nice to me, I try and put that niceness out into the universe. Hope Olutola has asked me, what is one thing you love about Korea? Like, let's say if you leave, you'll fly back just for it. I don't really have anything that I can say I would want to fly back. Oh, actually no, Jeju. I want to visit Jeju-do again, because the first time I went was with a tour group company and they were the worst. It was a horrible experience and I didn't get to see as much of Jeju as I wanted to see. But from what I did see, it was a really, really beautiful place. But I would, if I was in that area and kind of in Asia, I would go back to Korea to visit Jeju. And also friends who are like staying there for life. I have some friends who are like getting married and marrying Korean guys, and I would visit there. But I think it would be more the kind of thing, if I'm in the area, I might stop over in Korea. But just to go there, just to visit, I don't really think I really would. Acedia versus the World has asked me, were you the only foreign teacher in your school? Yes, I was. Some public schools do have more than one foreign teacher, it's usually like 2. I know that in like Daegu, 2 of my friends, they had like another foreign teacher at their school, but I don't think that it's something that's like super common. I think if you work in Hagwon, then you will have like another foreign teacher at your school, but public schools, from my experience, it's not something that you have a lot of. It's usually just one foreign teacher. Venice Icarus asks me, where did you get makeup in Korea? Did you have to order online? I mean, foundation and such. I don't imagine they have all my skin tone colors. I brought the majority of my makeup with me, like foundation and the colors that I needed. I made sure that I brought those with me because I knew I wouldn't find those in Korea. I've heard that you can order MAC at their counters, so if you need a specific color, you can have it ordered through MAC and stuff. But I would suggest, if you are of a darker skin tone, then bring foundation and stuff with you. I am a makeup junkie, as you can probably tell, and I did make sure to bring like a lot of my makeup with me so I wouldn't have to buy it whilst I was there. I did buy stuff now and then, like lipsticks and like eyeshadows, but foundations, definitely bring that with you because I know you will not find a darker color. Also, non-Korean related, but what culture shock did you have when you lived in Paris and in the US? Oh, man, this was such a long time ago. I think for the US and stuff, I was very surprised at how big the roads were, how big the portions were, how different like people spoke, the sayings people had, and I would say things and people wouldn't understand what I was saying. America was a really big culture shock for me, but so long ago. I had people ask me so many questions, and they had so many stereotypes about people who live in England. And my roommate at the time, she was like, do people in London say hello governor? And I was like, no girl, we don't say that. In terms of Paris, I honestly don't think I can remember because nothing really sticks out in a big way. I was an exchange student such a long time ago. I want to say like 5-ish years ago. So I can't really remember much, but the big one for me, I think, was finding a place to live. I feel like in the UK, you kind of find a place and add somewhere, you pay your deposit, you move in or whatever, like you have references and all that good stuff. But in Paris, you need to have a guarantor, and you have to have a French guarantor to sign for you, to vouch for you. And if you don't have one, you have some places require you to pay like 6 months worth of rent up front. And when you're like a poor exchange student, that's just not very viable for you. So I think the big one was finding a place to live. But other than that, I don't really think I can remember. I feel like most of the things I just kind of blocked out from my memory, so I can't remember right now, but I don't think there were too many culture shocks in Paris. Do Koreans watch any Western shows? If so, which ones are popular and with Western music? I think they do have some Western shows broadcasted on Korean TV. I know that they were advertising for Scandal whilst I was there, and I think Game of Thrones. I'm not really sure how popular they were. I think some shows that are difficult to find, you have to kind of be really interested in Western culture. Like one of my co-teachers who was like really into learning English, her favorite show was Big Bang Theory, and she'd go on and on about Sheldon. I didn't watch Big Bang Theory, so I think it's one of those things like how some of us really love watching Korean dramas, so we have to kind of go online and search for it. I think for some Koreans, if you have a big interest in a certain show, you have to kind of do the same. I'm not really sure about which ones were really popular, because I didn't really have those conversations with people, but I know that my co-teacher loved Big Bang Theory and Friends as well, because they helped her learn English. In terms of music, I have no clue. I know that if you wanted a specific kind of genre of music, you had to go to certain places to go and listen to that. Like if I wanted to listen to hip hop, I knew that I could go to like Hongdae and go to like, what is that place? Is it Brand New? I can't remember off the top of my head, but you have to go to specific places, and you would hear like Western music in like shops and stuff, but I don't know how popular it was with people. No clue. Hiliana Himura would like to know how I got my hair done in Korea and what was my experience in a Korean hair salon. Now, I never actually visited a Korean salon because I really doubt that they would know what to do with my hair. Even my friends who had straight hair had a lot of problems with the Korean hair salons, especially with dyeing their hair. Like, so many horror stories of my friends. From what I gather, the Korean hair salons don't know how to dye hair, or Western hair, foreigner hair. When I wanted to get my hair done, I only got my hair done twice whilst I was there, and I went to an African lady in Itaewon to get my braids done, and that was about it. I do my hair myself, and I did a video about like doing my braids and all that stuff. I did it previously, so I'll leave it linked below if you are interested, but I barely ever got my hair. I don't like people having their hands all up in my hair anyway. But yeah, I only got my hair done twice. So folks, that is the end of this Q&A video. I feel like I have been talking forever, but I hope I answered the bulk of your questions. If you have anything that you would like to see me perhaps do a separate video on, please let me know, because I feel like I'm getting to an end of like these living in Korea related videos. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I really hope that was helpful for those of you who have had these burning questions. Let me know what you guys think, and don't forget you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I will speak to you all next time. Bye. Yes, once you have been bitten with the travel bug, it's really hard. You want to travel all the time, you want to live abroad or go somewhere.